Hello and welcome back to the Creators of the Future Workshop Week 44. My God, we are on week 44. February is over and we are in March, and very soon I'll be saying March is over, we are in April, and very soon I'll be saying we are in 2018. So hurry up, oh dear ones. So congratulations for making it to week 44. And incidentally, as I speak with you today, tomorrow I turn 44. You know, when I was 19 years old, I remember my friends and I, we were so upset because we all were finishing 19 years and turning 20. And for us, then 20 was like old. Like, it's like, oh my God, how old are we? It was almost depressing that I'm 20 now. At that time, 44 was unimaginable, and yet here it is. So I was looking at last week's assignments, which I had given to you, which I had done before I had given to you, and I was looking at this whole sheet where I had written a redefinition of myself in light of the person that I had become. And you know, I have seen such massive change even within my own life with the start of this workshop, which I think I'm doing for you, but actually it's the greatest gift that I have given to myself, to be able to allow myself the opportunity to serve you, and on a greater degree to serve myself with the discipline. So I was looking at that sheet and I saw that, my God, there is so much to me. There are so many facets to me, and yet the only outlet that I have to the world, which connects my world to your world, is two doors of the author and the motivational speaker. That's how we are connected. You're connected with me because I'm an author. You're connected with me because I'm a motivational speaker. Then what about this big person that I am? Then what about all those things which also define me? What about that? And I made a decision that this year, 2017, starting today from my birthday, is going to be an expression of this whole person that I am through these two doors into the world of a motivational speaker and an author. So if I am telling that I am a kind person, I'm a compassionate person, I'm a generous person, I'm a funny person, then I am going to express that on a daily basis through my work. That people who know you through your work, by the way, that's how most people know you. Do they know that you're funny? Do they know that you're generous? Do they know that you're compassionate? Do they know that you're kind? And if that is a self you have left behind and said, okay, all of that I am, but right now I'm at work as an executive, or right now I'm the painter, then that is going to be you selling yourself short, that you selling the world short of who you really are. Bring yourself to work. Bring that kind, compassionate, generous, courageous, funny, this being that you are. Take that being wherever you go. Bring that being to work. Bring him on YouTube. Bring him on your comments. Bring that person alive in everything that you do. Don't hide them. Don't hide yourself. A lot of times, people have this switch off and switch on mode. That generous is on Sundays when I go to church or when I go to the temple. That kind is only to, the beggars or people on the street. Or compassion only comes when I see somebody suffer. Don't make you incidental. Make you the predominant force in your days. See, can you bring yourself to work today? You, that whole thing that you wrote, that whole redefinition that you made, can that person come to play every single moment? Don't make your identity incidental. Make it this magnanimous force. I was doing the biography. I had the good fortune to do the biography of late Shree O.P. Munjal. He was the founder of Hero Cycles. So when I was doing his biography, it was my greatest privilege and honor ever. See, it's not the fact that he was voted by Forbes as the oldest, richest man in the country. Of course, he made a legacy. Of course, he built an empire. And of course, he left a fortune for, I don't know, how many generations of how many people that are associated with him. But that is not the only correct a whole definition of late Shree O.P. Munjal. He was much more than that. He was this huge human being whose force found expression in his job, and that is why I say it was my honor and privilege to write about him. I'll give you an example. You know, when we used to go to his office, there was one time he said, oh, you're coming to office, I'm on the way, why don't I pick you up and take you to work? So he picked me up, and he had this ritual, you know, every morning from his way to his home to his work, he would eat an apple in the car. Okay, तो फिर वो सेब काट के one piece he would give to the driver and then he would eat. So that day I was sitting in the car, he gave one piece to the driver, he gave me one piece, and then he ate the rest of the apple. So while we were returning, I told the driver, what a nice man, you know, ये अपना खाना भी शेयर करते हैं. And the driver told me, मैडम अभी तो 5 लोग नहीं बैठे थे, जब 5 लोग बैठ जाते हैं ना गाड़ी में तो उनका बांटने में उनको ही कुछ नहीं मिलता. That is so sweet. See, the gentleman is kind, he's a giver, he cares, he loves, he's compassionate, and that is not incidental, that is not once in a year expression, that finds its expression in his daily activities. You know, sometimes we would be going to the factory, तो उनकी ये आदत थी, if we are driving and he will see one of his guys, you know, even if it is a shop floor fellow who's wearing the blue greased overalls, तो वो गाड़ी रुका के he would tell him that आओ बैठ जाओ, you know, that एक ही जगह तो जा रहे हैं, that I am going in the car and somebody who works with me is walking in the sun, it is basic courtesy, I'm going to stop the car and tell him join me. And very soon it would be a car full of people. और ऐसा भी कभी होता था that there are already people in the car is full, and he sees another fellow walking on the road, he will stop there and he will tell the fellow that गाड़ी भर गई है तो मैं जा रहा हूँ. How sweet is that? You know, just that acknowledgement that Baba, I care enough. I have stopped for you to tell you that my car is full. I cannot take you. I would rate that bigger than any amount of money that you can ever make or have. Because end of the day, money is the poorest definition of success. It's who you are. It's what you have done over and above, where money does not even come into the picture. You know, those people, they swear by his name. They will die for him. जब Mr. O.P. Munjal would come to the factory, तो वो टाइम मिला लेते थे कि अभी इतना ही वक्त हुआ होगा. I forgot whether it was 8 o'clock or 8:15 that he would land up at the factory. तो वक्त मिला लेते थे कि you know, all other timing could be wrong, but he has come, तो यही वक्त है. उनका वक्त ही उनसे शुरू होता था. Now that is expression, true expression of who you really are. You know, एक बार see, I'm telling you so many stories, and some of them unfortunately are not in the book. See, ऐसा होता है, I would have spent so much time interviewing the person, but the book will only be 200 pages. तो कभी कभी इतनी अच्छी बातें नहीं आ सकती book में. So there was one time I was in the factory और कहीं ना कुछ तू मैं चल रही थी. So Mr. O.P. Munjal went and said क्या हो रहा है. So ऐसा हुआ था, one of the junior shop floor fellows, he wanted to go back home early because his son was sick, and the senior was saying कि इतना काम है तुम बाद में जाओ, और कुछ तो बहस चल रही थी. So Mr. O.P. Munjal said इसमें क्या बात है. He told that shop floor guy, he works, you know, in the factory. I tell you, he must be the person on the lowest rung. He tells him कोई बात नहीं, तुम लो छुट्टी, मेरी गाड़ी ले जाओ. He has this huge gold Jaguar. He calls his driver and he says इनके साथ रहना जब तक इनके बेटे की तबीयत ठीक नहीं है. And that guy was appalled. He was like, oh my God, he was so overwhelmed. And he tells Mr. Munjal, तो छोटे बाबूजी आप कैसे जाएंगे घर? तो he said इतनी साइकिल पड़ी है, कोई भी ले जाऊंगा. I mean, look at the man. He does not leave compassion back. He brings it to work. He does not leave kindness as a part of a definition that will soon be forgotten. He brings it to work. He does not leave love behind. He brings it with him everywhere he goes. And that's what I'm urging you to do this week, that you have your job, which is your greatest indulgence, the largest indulgence in the day, but don't forget to bring this person that you are into work. Let you be defined as the most compassionate, generous, kind, loving financial consultant ever. Let you be defined as the most fun, the sweetest, the person who cares the most loving painter ever. Let you be defined as a giver, as a spiritual person, as a person who's aware and who's also a life coach. Bring your definition into play. You know, ek baar at the end of the interviews, I wanted to interview a few dealers जो लुधियाना में थे, a few vendors, a few business associates. So Priyanka Malhotra, who's the daughter of late Shree O.P. Munjal, तो उन्होंने ना बोला कि we don't want to disturb people, तो we'll send out an email to everybody और फिर हम लुधियाना जाएंगे और बोलेंगे कि अगर आपके पास वक्त हो और if you would like to share stories, please come. They didn't want to make the book a very big deal. They didn't want to inconvenience people. तो incidentally अब जिस दिन हम लुधियाना पहुँचे, it was also Labor Day, 1st of May. छुट्टी थी, factory was closed, everything was closed, and we were like, oh my god, we selected this day now to do the interviews. तो 10 बजे we wanted to go to the factory कि जो भी आएंगे 2-4 लोग, तो हमें लगा कि 2 या 5 लोग आएंगे, and it was okay. I just wanted to interview just a small handful of people to get their feeling and their emotion about Shree O.P. Munjal. तो 10 बजे हमारी मीटिंग थी, तो सुबह 7:30 बजे प्रियंका मल्होत्रा called me and she said, Priya, where are you? तो I was like so startled. I had just woken up and I'm looking at my watch कि कितने बज गए, that she's saying where are you? So I said I'm in my hotel room. She's saying come fast, there are so many people. तो वहाँ इतनी दूर दूर से, दूसरे गाँव से, from other cities and villages, people had come. They had taken buses and trains. अब वो जो भी उनका टाइम होगा, some of them reached the factory at 7:30, some at 8, some at 8:30. There were flocks of people there even before the time of the interview, that I was shocked, and everybody wanted to come and share, not about the business, not how much money they made, not how Hero Cycles as a business, you know, established them. They wanted to talk about Shree O.P. Munjal. वो कहानियाँ बताने मुझे आए थे. तो मुझे याद है, there was one very old man, maybe 90 years old or so. तो वो आए, पूरा क्राउड ऐसे करके, ही जस्ट पुट द ब्रोक द क्यू एंड ही केम टू मी एंड ही सेड, देखो मैं इतनी दूर से आया हूँ और मेरी दवाई ज़रूरी है. लाइक ही वाज टेकिंग सम मेडिकेशन विच हैड टू बी गिवन टू हिम इन द हॉस्पिटल एट सर्टेन इंटरवल्स. सो ही सेड, कैन यू प्लीज़ डू माई इंटरव्यू फर्स्ट सो आई कैन लीव. आई सेड ऑफ कोर्स. सो आई डिड दिस लिटिल इंटरव्यू विद हिम और फिर वो चले गए. कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम था एंड देयर वर पीपल हु वर इनसाइड द कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम, देयर वर पीपल आउटसाइड, देयर वर पीपल waiting in lines. Okay, so after a couple of hours I went outside and I saw this gentleman is still sitting there. So I told him, भाऊजी आप गए नहीं? He's saying, नहीं इनकी सबकी कहानी सुन रहा हूँ, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मुझे. That fellow didn't go back to take his medication because you see it was the whole spirit of celebrating Mr. O.P. Munjal and everybody was telling their stories. तो हालांकि मेरे साथ एक ही one-on-one people were telling me, but the other people were telling their own stories outside. It was almost as if it was a festival to celebrate one human being who beyond work had given of himself to make a difference in people's lives. And I don't think it was his agenda that I want to make a difference in people's lives. It's who he was. It's originally who he was, and he did not forget that. He did not leave that. He brought himself into the frame, into the picture, into the job every single day of his life. That if your mother can vouch for you and say he is the most loving human being, if your sister can say that he is the most helpful person, if your colleague can say he is the most generous, courageous, supportive and positive colleague I have ever seen, how does it matter what position you are in, how much money you bring back home? Of course that matters to an extent, but beyond that, it's you who counts. It's this goodwill that counts. It's this huge magnitude of the person that you become and express that counts. You know, I had this poem which Dr. Patel had given to me when I was young, in my younger days, 20, you know, when I'd become old, 22, 24. It was this poem, I can never find it on the internet. It was called Give Yourself Away for Free. There was this little boy with a butterfly on his hand. I forgot the poem, but I remember the essence, you know, so I just made it up. to complete it, to share with you. If you can find it on the internet, please let me know. So it went something like this: give yourself away for free, give hope, give love, give kindness, give of you so you can see the person you are and the person you were meant to be. Give yourself away for free, give your best, and the best you will be. And that is your assignment for this week, to give yourself away very consciously. Make that a habit. Make you the primary force of whatever you do in that redefinition. Because you see, agar aap ye nahi karenge, you will forget who you are. Some people have forgotten that they are kind, that they are loving, that they're generous, that they're giving, that they're spiritual beings. They have forgotten. Aisa nahi hai ki wo nahi hai, wo hain, but they have cut themselves out for so long and so often that today they have forgotten who they are. It is a gift that you have redefined yourself. Now bring that into play. When you go to work, when you go to school, wherever that is that you go, take a part of you and bring that exposure and bring that expression and tell us what you did. So whatever you do tomorrow, today, that look, this is the side of mine that I highlighted for people to see, and this is what I consciously did. That mujhe kaha gaya tha that can you make one portrait, and I made two, because that's who I am. I give more. That someone needed help at office and I stopped by and gave the person two ideas. It was none of my business. I've met the person the first time, but I contributed because that's who I am. I am a person who contributes. That I stopped by the watchman and asked him, how are you? Because that's who I am. I make connections. I build connections with people. I embrace them. You tell me, what did you do? That perhaps I helped my mother, perhaps I helped my boss, perhaps that I went and spread positivity, or I told someone a joke and made his day, or that one came and told me, you know, that thing you said, it made my day, it brought sunshine even in the night that I was sitting in my room depressed. I don't know what you will do, but you do out of who you are. And my dear, one day will come that you will become so big, that you will discover so many great things about yourself that it would be impossible to define, because in every moment you are redefining yourself. So I'm waiting to read the comment section. What did you do? What did you do to bring yourself into the picture so big that the frame is impossible to hold your identity? Because a day will come where I will ask, just put out an email that I'm writing a little book on Harisha, on Preet, on Himanshu, on Rahul, on Parvati, Jayamala, on Sharmi, you know, I'm right, and of course so many others, on Vishal. I hope you're feeling better, you know, that I'm writing a book on them, you know, maybe your thoughts. And there is a flock of people who come 3 hours before time from different towns and different cities just to say, ये इंसान ना इतने अच्छे हैं, उन्होंने मेरे लिए ऐसा किया. And by the way, I'll also tell you, when we had sent out those emails, there was one gentleman who came to meet me. He was a kadiya, you know, who does these fixing in the house. तो वो kadiya था, आया मुझसे मिलने, because he found out that an author is writing about O.P. Munjal and he wanted to share. He said, एक दिन ना मैं छोटे बाबूजी के घर काम कर रहा था, तो लंच टाइम हो गया, तो वो मुझे बुलाने आए और बोला, आओ खाना लग गया है, खाना खा लो. He said that he came to call me not to go and have lunch, that lunch time हो गया, अब तुम जाके खा लो. He said, आके खा लो, खाना लग गया है. He sat with Mr. O.P. Munjal at his lunch table and had food. He said, मैंने उनको लाख बोला कि मैं जाके खा लूँगा, मैं बाद में खा लूँगा, मेरे कपड़े मैले हैं, मेरे कपड़े गंदे हैं, you know, but he said खाना खाना है. And he told him with such humility, with so much love, that that incident was the single biggest hallmark in that Kadiya's life, that he was offered lunch by the man himself. It is the small things like this that change people's faith and belief in humanity. and you stand that potential. I have read your comments. I have read the beautiful souls that you are. Please put it into action. Go shine on the world. Make the world brighter and warmer with your love. Write in the comment section, what did you do today to bring your generosity into play? What did you do today so kindness was your definition in everything that you said and touched? And I will tell you, oh dear ones, you're not seeing what is going to happen into the future in 2018, in 2019, that somebody is going to bump into this video week 44 and they are going to see what you did, and that will be the single most changing, defining factor in their lives, where they will be reminded of who they are, someone they forgot a long time ago. And that is the greatest service you can do for mankind, to remind them. People have cut themselves out so much and so often that today they don't know who they are and they don't know where to begin. And you have done something which is revolutionary, that is found out who you are and more. Now, the more you bring it out to the world, the bigger you're going to grow. I want to know in the comments, what did you do? How did your love become the highlight of your day at work? How did your generosity come into play when you went to school? How did your spirit of contribution, of help, be the defining factor when you went out and did what you did in the day? Write those comments, and you have to know that I am eager to read them. You have given me this platform to help you, and in doing so, you have no idea to what degree I am helping myself. I love you guys. I love this connection. I love that this community of like-minded people have come, and mark my words, you have a hand in changing the world, in not just redefining yourself, but in recreating a beautiful future ahead. I love you and I'm extremely proud of you. So until week 43, I will still be 44 then. See you soon.